Hi everybody, it's Oksana, and we are snowed in here today. So I thought I would record this demo, this foundation sample that I got a while ago, and this is from Monave. It's their liquid matte foundation, and it's kind of a big jar. It's more of like a little mini size than a sample, like if you want to use it as a concealer or something. So it's pretty expensive if you think of it as a sample, because it's $8 something, I think like $8.50. But they do give you a lot, so you can definitely use this for a while. It's more than just a couple of tries. So I'm very curious about this liquid matte foundation because I've tried their other two. I've tried their cream one and I've tried their mousse one, which I'll compare all three for you at the end. I'll talk about that. But for now, I just want to demonstrate this one for you. It's going to be kind of a first impression. I've put it on, just not all over my face, but just to kind of play around with it since I've had it. But this is going to be, you know, my first time putting it all over my face. So I'm going to go ahead and just start, and we'll see how it goes. This is in the color Kerrie. And I'm going to try to, do it with my fingers, and then I do have a beauty blender just in case if I need it. I don't have any makeup on, like my face where I'm putting the foundation, but I do have obviously a little eye makeup on, as you can probably see, and a little under eye concealer. So I have been a little off-put trying this because it's called the matte foundation, and they talk about it being for oily skin, and I have dry skin, and I like my foundations to be dewy, not matte, so I didn't think that this would work for me. But I like their other foundations a lot, and they don't seem to be drying at all, so I thought I would give this a try. It's a little funny. I don't know if it's kind of separated or something, but it's being a little difficult to blend. I think maybe because a little bit goes a really long way with this. So I guess my tip would be just to put very, very little on and try to blend that out thoroughly. And you might have an easier time blending it out. So I did about half of my face. I did my nose, my chin, in this half here. So you can see it covers very, very well. And go ahead and do my forehead now. It is not drying at all. It's not what I expected. I expected it to be, when I hear, liquid matte foundation, I think of the 100% Pure foundation, their liquid foundation, because it's really matte and it's kind of drying. And so it almost has, like, you can feel the, I don't know what's in it, like if it's rice powder, I forget. I think it might be rice powder, but you can almost like feel it in there. It almost has like a cream to powder, except it's a liquid, like a liquid to powder feel to it. The 100% Pure foundation does. So that's kind of what I think of, and I was afraid this would be like that, and that's why I hadn't tried it, but it's actually not like that at all. It's a little cold here now, so that could be part of the reason why it's a little, it's like, I have to like rub it in and make it melt into my skin, you know what I mean? I think if it was warmer, or maybe if you warmed it up on like the back of your hand or rubbed it in between your fingers first, it would blend a little quicker for you. So don't think that this is bad to blend. It's just a little solid. Like you can see this is supposed to be a liquid foundation, but look how solid that is right now because of the cold. So yeah, the coverage is amazing. The finish is actually a little dewy. It's definitely not matte. I don't know if this will work for oily skin. I mean, it's supposed to. That's what it's designed for, but it seems a little too creamy and moisturizing, and it has like a little bit of a tacky feel to it. It doesn't anymore now that it's dry on this side, but where I'm still applying it, it's got a little bit of a tackiness to it. So if you wanted to powder it, the powder will stick very nicely to it. And I'm almost done here. I'm debating whether I'm going to try and use a sponge or not, or just try to blend it all out completely with my fingers. With this foundation, it seems to be the same case as with their other foundations, where when I put them on at first, it kind of was a little visible on my skin. So now I have it all over. I know I look really pale probably on camera because I don't have blush, and this is such high coverage, it just kind of, you know, sucks all the color from your face. So you need to put a little blush or something on to, you know, perk yourself up. So I will go ahead and do that so you can kind of see what it will look like. I'm going back in almost like using it as a concealer right now on blemishes. Now I forget what I was saying. Oh, I remember. So once the other foundations kind of had a chance to sit on my skin and melt into my skin, they started looking super nice and not noticeable at all. But at first, they looked a little like I could tell that I had makeup on. So that's the same with this foundation. When I look closely, it's not bad, but I can, especially in some areas, I can see that I'm wearing makeup. It's a little noticeable. Around my eyebrows, I have some dry skin right here, I guess, because there's some like healing breakouts, you know, I get dry skin around there. It's all stuck in my eyebrows too. I don't know how I'm gonna get it out. But let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about, and then I'll give it a little bit of time to really melt into my face so that, you know, you can see what it looks like. Maybe in like 15-20 minutes. I'll give it a little bit of time, and then I'll put some blush on. I'll clean my lips up because I got a foundation all over them, put some lipstick on, and then come back so you can kind of see what it looks like. So I will be right back. Alright, so I'm back. This is what it looks like about 10 minutes after. I put on Vogue from Red Apple lipstick. I put on my favorite blush, which is Naked Truth from the Conservatorie. And that's it. I didn't powder or anything because I didn't want to, you know, change the finish or the coverage so you can really see. So let me zoom back in. I think it looks pretty good. I think that, you know, it's even, you know, my forehead where I had some drier areas, like right here. I think it's looking really nice. Not really too noticeable, especially for such a heavy coverage foundation. Usually the, you know, heavier the coverage, the more noticeable it is. The only thing is it is a little pale. I feel like it's a little lighter than my skin tone right now. So I do have lots of powders that are slightly darker. I can put a little powder on and fix it. It's no problem. So the color is Kerrie. I don't know what color would be slightly darker. I had a hard time trying to figure that out. But if you are, you know, really pale with yellow undertones, then Kerrie is a really nice color. There's no pink to it at all. Really, really nice. So these are all three of their foundations that I own. The cream foundation / concealer, the liquid matte, which I just showed you, and the moisture mousse. And they are similar but a little different. So the cream one is the most solid. It's almost like a cream foundation, like if you're thinking of the All Natural Face cream foundation that comes in a little pot that is like a solid cream. This is a little softer. It's dried up since I've had it, so it almost became like that, but when I initially got it, it was definitely a little softer, more like the Cowgirl Dirt in consistency, where it's not quite like a solid cream. It's like a soft, you know, if you touch it, it moves. You don't have to, you know, rub hard to get the product. But now it's hardened up. It's a little harder. So this one gives you the best coverage. They're all really good coverage. They're all, I would say, heavy coverage, and the slight variances in coverage, they almost don't matter. I would say pick the one that you think would work best for your skin tone, that sounds the most appealing to you in terms of the texture and finish and all that stuff, because they're all pretty similar. But if I had to pick, then this one is the heaviest, and that's why it's also / concealer, because you can use it as a concealer. But it's the hardest to blend because it's so solid. You really have to, you know, just do a little bit at a time, and it's hard to spread it all around, you know. I do have a demo on both of the other ones that I will link below. both of those videos if you want to see how those go on. But this one is the heaviest coverage and the hardest to blend. The next one is the Moisture Mousse, and this one is probably the softest and the easiest to blend, and it's really, really nice. And the Liquid Matte, I feel like it's kind of in between those two. It has probably slightly more coverage than the Moisture Mousse, although the Moisture Mousse still has, you know, really good coverage. But it's just a little bit harder to blend, although it's not bad. So these two are probably my, you know, top two choices. I would say don't do the cream one unless you're going to use it as concealer. But if you're going to use it all over, it's just going to take, you know, forever for you to put it all on and blend it out. But these two are really, really nice. I think that I like the Vegan Mousse one a little bit better just because it's a little softer and kind of quicker to put on. It did look like I was wearing makeup when I put this one on at first, but then it kind of melted into my skin. And the same happened with this one. I feel like this one melted into my skin a little faster, the Liquid Matte one. I don't think that it's matte. I honestly don't think it is like a ton different than the Moisture Mousse. I mean, maybe it's slightly more matte, but I don't think that it's like all that matte, you know. Doesn't look too matte. Like I can see it even in the camera. Like obviously my cheeks are blush, but like my nose, I don't have anything else in my nose, and you can see a little bit of a glow, like a natural glow. It's not shiny or anything, but it's not super duper matte. When it melts into your skin, it looks really nice and natural, but if you look closely in the mirror, you obviously can see that you are, you know, wearing makeup, as is the case with any heavy coverage foundation. I don't think I've ever had a heavy coverage foundation that you can look really up close in the mirror and it's like undetectable that you're wearing makeup. I think they're all gonna show, but I think from a reasonable distance it looks, you know, really flawless and natural, and doesn't seem to emphasize, you know, dry areas or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of a quick comparison for you. My pick for, you know, my skin type, which is dry, is the Moisture Mousse. I think the Liquid Matte would probably, actually, now that I think about it, I think it will work for combination to oily skin. Maybe not if you're really, really oily, just because it's not that matte and it actually is kind of moisturizing. So if you like a drier foundation, something that really absorbs oil and is, you know, really matte, I don't think this is quite there. And it's also not liquid. I know it's called liquid, but keep in mind that it's, you know, kind of similar consistency to the mousse. I think these are really nice. I don't hear them talked about a lot at all, Monave Foundations, but I think that they are really good, especially if you like heavy coverage. All natural foundations are really hard to come by that have heavy coverage and that come in such a large variety of colors, because, you know, this is a little lighter than me, which is super rare because I'm really pale and I'm usually the lightest color, and even then it's too dark or too pink, which is very common. So the fact that this is paler than me and not pink is really impressive, and they go, you know, pretty deep too shade wise. I think that's kind of their thing, is they try to you know, fit a lot of skin tones. They are cruelty free. Most of their stuff is vegan. I know the one that is the mousse one, because it's called Vegan Mousse, is definitely vegan, and then I think the other ones are as well. Actually, the matte one has beeswax, and so does the cream concealer one. So both of those do have beeswax, but the mousse one doesn't. I guess that's probably why it's a little softer feeling, huh? So very nice natural ingredients, and the price is a little pricey for a full size. I forget the exact prices of all of these in full size, but you know, it's not super cheap. It's $20 to $30-ish, which, I mean, it's kind of consistent with all natural foundations because they tend to be pricier than drugstore ones. So anyways, that is it. That is my demo and review of the Liquid Matte, as well as a little comparison to their other foundations. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Let me know down below if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.